morning, everyone, and we're on now. So, good morning. We'll be starting our show now. So, a pleasant morning to our dear listeners. Um, we welcome everyone to our In Touch podcast. This is our first episode, and as a starter, let me introduce again that we are from an In Touch community. This is a community of mental health advocates here in the Philippines, and the reason why we're doing a podcast now is really want to do the advocacy more, advocating mental health and emotional well-being. So in this Sunday morning, I'm allow me to also be with my co podcasters here, my fellow volunteers and members of the community at InTouch. So my name is Mark Romero. I've been with the InTouch community since like almost 3 years now, and I'm happy to be with this community advocating mental health. So we have our who's next, Rina.
Me, I'll come in. Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. Good morning. I'm Rina Macasaet, and I've been a volunteer for the In Touch community, gosh, 10 years, 11 years, since 2010, if I believe.
Yes.
And it's really been such a great journey and experience for me advocating mental health. So I hope you enjoy our initial podcast this morning and let us know how we're doing.
Yes.
So, hello everyone. My name is Aiccelle. I'm actually a new volunteer for InTouch community. I've been here for a month now and I'm really enjoying the process of learning about mental health and helping to spread awareness about it.
Woohoo!
Morning.
Yes.
I'm
Welcome, Azel.
yes, I'm also new. I've been with the community for almost 8 months. Um, I'm Zave. Sorry, I'm Zave.
Hi,
Uh,
Good
Zay.
morning,
Good
Zabe.
good
morning.
morning.
Are you
Yeah.
awake? It's Sunday.
Yes, it's a happy Sunday, guys. Good morning.
Okay, so thank you, Zay, Rina, and Azel. So for our first episode now, of course, we call ourselves mental health advocates. So our topic for the pilot episode would be on mental health. So allow me to start with that. On my end, before joining In Touch, actually, I'm not really that familiar with the coin term mental health. For me, it's just as long as I have a good mentality, something positive, that's something that helps me, that's already good. And then, especially now, here comes the word mental health. So, what exactly mental health is? I think that will be the course of our discussion this morning. And as our perspective or how we understand mental health. Like if I'll start, like I mentioned before, knowing what exactly mental health is based on the WHO definition of it. It's just for me, it's really having that. What mentality do you have? Do you it's something helpful for yourself, something helpful for the others? So is it something that helps you get by each day? So that's something mental health for me. And then I learned to to know the definition from the WHO. This is like the real definition. So according to them, it's actually a state of well-being, which for me, not surprisingly, it's actually well-being, and which individual realizes his own abilities. So something interesting that I learned also is the realizations. So parang, oh, mental health also includes realization about our own abilities. So may reflection, parang you have to be
Mm, mm.
self-aware. And to continue, it's also someone that can cope with the normal stress of life. So parang realization na may coping pang dinagdag dun sa definition. So coping and then can work productively and fruitfully. So in short, parang being productive, being fulfilling yung ginagawa, and at the end, being able to make a contribution to the community. So parang after learning yung definition ni WHO, parang okay, mental health pala is more than just about me. It's really um, my potential and how I could be productive in the contribution to the community. So parang yun yung add-on
Nice,
sa akin nung
nice.
learning through that, kasi parang okay, it doesn't mean it's just about you, but also how you contribute
Mhm.
now to the
Yeah.
community. And I
Yes.
think that's what we're trying to ano. So how about you, Rina? Ano yung
You
idea
know,
mo naman about
it's
mental
interesting,
health?
because when I started to volunteer for In Touch community in 2010, I was really in the thick of my career. I retired actually in 2019, but can you imagine, I was already into volunteering and at the height of my career
Yes.
since 2010. And I guess what I felt was a calling for me to join the In Touch community was being a career professional and climbing up the ladder. I was dealing with a lot of people who were stressed,
Mm.
because of the demands of work. And even for myself, I kind of was looking for an outlet or a way to share my knowledge, my experience, my learnings, also to learn, by being part of a mental health advocate organization. So when I joined In Touch community and I started volunteering in 2010, I really found that my role there was very helpful when interacting with those who would need guidance or mentoring, especially those who were working. And I don't know, and they just didn't really realize, wow, mental health, what's happening to me. I'm stressed, and I don't know what's going on. And I really realized it's a balance. Mental health wellness is a balance. So I really started to practice it myself, by not just doing what I have to do, which is work, but also incorporating doing something that I love to do, which was to help others. Because I noticed, I manage a lot of people in all my career work experience, and I kind of started to realize they were coming. My younger associates were coming to me for
Mm.
guidance, and
Yes.
and they were always saying, they like it when they talk to me because they gain something and they understand how to manage their stress and the challenges. So I said, oh, maybe I must have something in me. So I decided to volunteer for In Touch community. And that's when I realized, wow, it's wonderful to be able to give back and to share what I've learned, about balancing left side and right side brain. Career and doing something for myself. So for me,
Yeah.
that's, I guess, in a nutshell, that's mental wellness for me, is really balancing your state of mind, no, and not just being forced or having to do what you have to do, obligations, work, earning a living, but tapping into what keeps you alive, what kept me alive, what makes me grow, what makes me smile, what inspires me. And so that's that's my cup of tea this Sunday morning.
Yes. Like the balance now. There's something like
Yeah,
work and something that you love.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I mean, sa akin kasi iba yung definition more on parang back then, guys, from the culture na rin and the family that I grew up, parang hindi siya gano'n na bigyan on din. And siguro di ko pa rin alam kung na-experience ko na yung parang may something sa mental health kasi parang lagi naman happy or laging gano'n. So more yung dating sa akin ng mental health is like um, see people or kids na parang or adults sometimes na parang iba yung reaction about bagay or parang bang may something na nagbabother na ganun yung dating tapos hindi nagagawa yung kailangan gawin which is parang for di ko gets kung bakit nangyayari yun. Hindi ko alam kung anong meron and ever since nakasama ko sa community ito, it was like a learning process of the very beginning na parang ganito pala. So ito pala yung nagdadaanan kaya nag-iiba yung attitude or nagkakaroon ng reaction na sa ganitong bagay. And it's very amazing talaga na parang for the longest time. Wala akong alam tungkol doon. It's a big part of me personally and
Mm.
other people around. Kaya parang wow.
Interesting yung take ni
Yeah.
Zave, no? Parang feeling ko, parang dinig ko sa kanya is parang, yung from the disconnect, realizing he's able to connect the dots, no? Something that he couldn't figure out in the beginning. Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
You're now connected. Connecting.
Well, for me naman, there are two things that I associate with mental health. Parang sabi niya na rin kanina, actually mental health is a concept that is hard to understand,
Yes.
especially sa
That's true.
especially sa mga nangyayari ngayon. For me, there are two things. It is emotion and perspective. There is always this thing that I love to share. For example, when we look at one thing and there different people can convey this thing differently based on their emotions and their perspective, and I think that is mental health. Based on our state of mind, what Rina said, it can affect how we view things and how we function in our everyday lives, how we contribute to our society, and how we perceive our life as a whole. That is mental health
Parang
for me.
kanya-kanya, iba-iba eh.
Yes.
No, mental health is not a one size fits all definition
Yes.
eh. 'Di ba? Parang depending on the personality or the I guess the coping mechanism of individuals, no? I mean, yeah.
And perspective, sabi nga ni Aiccelle, di ba?
Yes.
Different perspective. Like, which is evidence sa discussion natin, di ba? Parang iba yung pagkaka-understand natin this. And then Zave also have a different perspective, which is really interesting then to know.
And I guess it's parang like, I guess everyone has different strengths. So let's say kung si Zave, meron, there's an aspect na kaya niya. Baka pag ako yan, stress na ako or something, or something
Yes.
that doesn't make sense to me, and vice versa. I guess, yeah, it's really, there's no specific recipe, that you can give an individual. That's what I learned, while I was as I continue to do all my volunteer work for the community, for In Touch community, because you really come across people from different walks of life, eh? Young, old, troubled, some are okay, some are complacent, some are very gung-ho. And how they see mental wellness is really depends on their situation, where they are at that particular moment, no? Iba-iba talaga. Interesting.
Yeah, and di ba sabi nga nila mental health is a state of well-being. So parang how do we now understand or define parang well-being?
Ano yung well-being?
Oo, di ba? Parang
Yeah.
mental health is well-being. So what do you mean well-being? Actually, I'm thinking of the word for Tagalog that really capture well-being, di ba? Parang
it's funny. It's funny, when you say the word well-being, I can relate to that, having been in corporate life for decades and decades of years, because it reached a point wherein I started to ask myself, oh my gosh, is my life always just work? Am I happy? Am I content? There was I felt like a nudge. I wanted to, then I started to question, am I well? I mean, am I okay? Am I balanced? And it was when I started to think and ask myself, okay, if I wasn't working, what would I like to be doing? And I said to myself, I like helping others. I like mentoring others. I like serving. Then I came across In Touch Community Services. And that's where I began to realize, it really, life, balance, well-being cannot just be gising, trabajo, sweldo, put food on the table, support your family. Sabi ko, then I realized I started to feel better, less masungit, more engaging. Then I realized, oh wow, my well-being was not well.
I like how Rina used the word balance to really like understand well-being, like the balance there. So I agree. Like yung it's more there's more than and there's more to life than work or study. I know it's priority, yes, but pero nga sometimes hanapin mo sa sarili mo na okay, okay, what else can I do? Like I've been doing work, okay, studies, and then still naghahanap ka, di ba, ng parang ano. And I think similar reason that Rina has with me. And that's the reason why I got in touch with In Touch. I just actually Googled it because during that time in my career, parang okay, steady, pero hanap ako kasi parang hinahanap ko nga yung well-being, well-balanced, 'di ba? Tapos yeah,
Wellness,
wellness
well-being.
'yun. So, 'yun, and that's the reason why now, and I think with this what we're doing, and I'm happy na parang yes na I'm finding that balance na okay, I have that work at the same time I'm with this community and advocating mental health and meeting new people even virtually. So parang nakadagdag 'yun ng wellness, well-being. So yeah,
Yeah, totoo.
well-being.
You know, there is this thing we call the hustle culture. It's like we always want
Hustle
to
culture.
work because because we are afraid to miss
Hustle.
things out. So, kasi
Mm,
for me, I associate my productivity sa tiredness ko at the end of the day. Kapag hindi ako
Mm-mm.
pagod, I feel like wala akong na-achieve.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, as
The
a student
hustle.
kasi, gusto ko
Hustle.
na, feeling ko may improvement ako kapag pagod ako. And now that I've realized it, I don't feel accomplished at the end of the day, even though how tired I feel. So,
Yeah.
focusing on having support. Actually,
Yeah.
that's why I joined this community. It's having support and meeting people who share the same value that I do. It
Yes.
is very
That's a good
important.
point.
Yeah.
Aiccelle has a good point using that word support. In touch community, mental wellness, kailangan support. You have it's really, yeah, it's having a support group. That's
And
right. That's
knowing that
right.
you are not alone and there are people who feel the same way as you do. That is, I know, my comfort doon sa feeling na yon.
Oo
Yeah,
nga,
yeah,
oo.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
hug, 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 hug.
Virtual hug.
Virtual hug.
Totoo, and I mean, I understand din kasi yung being in a place na imbalance yung well-being mo or yung mindset mo or yung emotions. Kasi it's like, sabi ko nga before, I didn't really understand or understood kung ano ibig sabihin ng mental health or yung
Mm,
kakaroon ng
mm,
well-being, which is, in a way, when I'm stressed sa work, bit-bit ko pag uwi ko. And so, sabihin
yeah.
ko, it's my time. I should what I like. And iniiwan ko na yung mga bagay na gawain sa bahay. So, nagagalit sa akin
Uh,
yung parents ko, yung
yeah,
siblings ko. And it's chaos na. I mean,
yeah.
hindi na nag-work out everything. And then,
Mm.
nag-start ako rito slowly, parang adjusting and everything hanggang sa, okay, so, kailangan pala maintindihan ko rin kung saan sila nanggagaling para
Yeah.
maging, okay, so, after ko mag-work, pagod, okay, rest muna. After ko mag-rest, okay, pwede natin gawin yung mga kailangan gawin para hindi maging galit, karoon ng conflicts, something talaga na, I guess, tama yung balance na work. Kasi pag
Yeah.
balance, chaotic. Chaotic yung mangyayari.
Yeah. Tama. That's one thing I also realized that being in the corporate field before I joined In Touch Community, I was coming home parang sungit, empty-handed. And then I kept saying to myself, wow, I manage so many people. I have to change how I am as their immediate superior because I'm not able to set a good example. So yeah, so go to In Touch Community, enrolled in the learnings, and then became a volunteer. And then I realized that's when I realized the importance of balance, and I started to advocate that in my work environment because the staff would come and they would have such heavy burden,
Mm.
and then they would always ask me, "Ma'am, bakit ikaw nakikita namin you're so busy pero smiling ka. parang hindi ka napipikon, hindi ka nagagalit. Then I was, able to explain to them, no? Like I'm hoping we're explaining to our listeners this morning that really the importance of being balanced, keeping your, being aware of your own well-being. How am I doing? Where am I at? Am I tipped over too much on the left side? Kaya medyo napipikon ako, kailangan konti. So I would explain that to my staff, and they kind of understood it. They really understood it. And sabi ko, kung napapagod kayo, take a 5-minute break.
Yes.
Go out, inhale, breathe some air, get sunshine. And then, I was saying, when you're having your lunch break, have a good lunch break. Unwind, maybe listen to music, look at photos in your phone of your family or your loved ones, rather than always work. And then suddenly I saw it changing. They started to have a better balance of their everyday situation. So for me, really, with mental health and when you talk of wellness, well-being, it's like a pendulum. Yeah, kailangan balance talaga eh.
Yeah,
And related din sa di ba? Sorry.
No, go.
I mean, related din talaga kahit sa mga students, sabi nga ni Aiccelle na di ba? Hindi siya feel na productive siya hanggat hindi siya pagod. Which is, I think, parang as kids, syempre, di ba, gusto nila
kailangan nyo ng downtime.
Oo, you need
hustle.
temper yung break.
Time.
Parang
Hustle.
balance din, di ba?
Yeah,
So, sabi nga nila, work hard, play hard. So, dapat balance.
Play harder.
Parang kumbaga, ika nga, there's more to life. There's more to every day. It can't just be study, books, trabaho. We have to recharge, di ba? That's what I realized about regaining balance. With well-being, you have to recharge. Think of yourself, not just everything that you have to do every day. Doesn't make a person irresponsible by also prioritizing yourself, diba? Kasi syempre, kung hindi naman, if you're exhausted and you're not feeling well, how can you even perform, diba? On an everyday basis, so balance talaga.
Yeah. And diba sabi nga nila, mental health also covers coping with stress, and Rina and everyone have mentioned yung mga different strategies that how we cope with stress, diba? So I guess for me, given it's in this situation, lockdown, this is the new reality, new normal, as they say, and how we cope with stresses now is for me, it's really reaching out to people, connecting. It's good that there's Zoom. And it's
That's
good that we
right.
could
Oh my
do
gosh.
this to reach out to our listeners out there. So
Yeah.
it's the connecting, because it's also help in managing or coping with any kinds of stress then also. So
I think that's the one good takeaway that I continue carrying with me, is the sense of having a good sense of belonging and community, being with In Touch community, because we're all like minds, and every time each and every one of us needs a support system. There's many of us in that, with the same cause, diba? the same desire, so I guess what I'm trying to say to our listeners is really, it's good. It's a good consideration to belong to a community. Doesn't necessarily just have to be your immediate circle of friends or your family, because it's when you build communities that your circle of connections continues to grow in like minds. No? So I think it contributes to mental wellness.
For me naman, this pandemic made me feel like I've lost control over my life. Kasi andito lang ako sa bahay, quarantine, bawal lumabas. So my way of gaining back that control that I'm really longing for is to do
gain
things
control.
na kaya ko talagang control. I make art, so I
Yeah.
feel like I I can convey what I'm feeling inside through art, and you know, and that's just said, finding a support group, talking to people, and reaching out and staying in touch, that is very helpful for our mental health, and actually helping others to protect their mental health as well. Kasi kapag our actions affect other people, so I
Yes.
think it is also important that we protect other people's mental health as well, kasi it's like a cycle.
Mm-mm.
If we are feeling negative and nilabas natin yung negativity na yun sa ibang tao, pwedeng
Mm-mm.
nilang ilabas yun sa iba. So we must
Yeah.
break the cycle if it is a negative one, and then spread positivity, spread awareness, and spread love. That
Yeah.
really yun.
Is it,
Yeah.
how do you break the cycle?
Uh, Actually, for me, I do. Kasi ako kapag I feel like I need to talk to people, uh, I I reach out to my friends, and the first thing I do is ask them, "Hey, do you have the emotional capacity to listen to my problems?"
I like that.
Kasi,
Yeah.
'di ba? Kasi minsan kahit
Yeah.
na dapat iparamdam mo sa kanila na alam ko na nandiyan ka, but if you don't have the emotional capacity to listen to my problems, I understand kasi you have to protect yours as well. And that is a little thing I do to break the cycle. You have to make them feel that hindi palagi nilang responsibilidad na maging nandun sa'yo, sa tabi mo.
Oo.
But, you know, it's just about
I guess
really
parang yung napipick
talking
up ko yung
about,
sa sinasabi ni Aiccelle is parang it's don't be afraid to express yourself.
yes.
Yes,
Don't
and
be afraid to ask for help. Di ba?
and
Parang
I like na may parang paano mo na si Ace, parang reach out tapos sasabihin mo kung okay din yung person. So parang kinonsider mo rin yung hihinga, yung i-reach
Oo
out
nga.
mo. I said
Kasi,
that I'll try that.
and then,
I'll try doing that
sa
before
totoo lang,
asking, "Hey
yes.
man, are you okay? Can I?"
Kasi how can they listen to you if they are suffering as well? Parang lalo lang
yeah.
bibigat yung problema, and hindi sila present sa moment, and you will feel
Mm-mm.
like na baka wala silang pakialam sa akin, when it's in fact it is not true. They just
Busy
don't
or
have,
preoccupied. Oo.
yes, or
Oo.
Yeah.
maybe they are emotionally drained, and you know.
So may quick check-in muna
Yes.
bago ikaw yung mag ano. Sige, Aizel, I'll definitely try that.
Yeah, that's something new to be learned or to
Oo,
try.
di ba?
I mean,
No,
ang hirap kasi pag ganun eh. I mean, hindi, well, I guess pag ano rin, alam mo naman, pag tropa, kwento ka
Oo.
agad ng problema mo,
Oo, di ba?
dire-diretso na eh. And, di mo rin may isip, may problema rin pala yung kausap mo.
that's right. Yeah. I wanted to share something, hoping, maybe our listeners can pick up a tip from here. Being part of a community doesn't, how do I say this? Doesn't exempt us, diba? Or we cannot be assuming. On the other hand, I've actually learned to be more sensitive with my friends. For
Yes.
example, the other day,
Yes.
2 days na, the other day, I texted my friend, "Are you busy? I need to vent." May smiley pa ako. 2 days na, hindi niya ako binabalikan. Then, I just realized, I'm not
2
the
days.
only one that's having a problem. I'm not the only one
Mm.
that's having a bad day.
Yes.
She hasn't been able to reply to me because she's probably having a bad day too. So I think it was a nice realization for me. In fact, it was funny because I was so desperate to vent. Then when she didn't reply to me, I said to myself, I should be grateful. I'm not the only one that's having a bad day. I said, I can handle this. I can handle this. So it also kind of made me a little, parang na-realize ko, okay, hindi lang ikaw may problema sa buhay. but I think, I guess what I wanted to say is, let's not be afraid. Part of mental wellness is not being afraid to speak and ask for help when you need help.
Yes. Like for me, pag when I reach out, I always start with the yo kasi my mates, guys. Parang yo, kapag nag-reply siya, saka lang ako.
Kapag walang yo, walang reply na
Hindi,
yo.
that's my starting. So parang yo. So gets na nila 'yun. Pag hindi nag-reply, parang automatic for me, ay
Busy
not a
sila.
good time, oo. Pero pag nag-reply, yo, ganyan. Ibig sabihin yun, start na yun. So, pero I like nga yung kay Aiccelle na check-in muna to your friend and then not be afraid na, okay, pag okay na sa tamang timing and zone, yun, vent time na. And
Maganda nga. I mean, iba kasi pag pag close mo rin like sabi nga ni Mark na pag nag-yo siya, pag nag-reply ng yo, understand na
Oo.
pwede magtuloy. Pero I guess rin, pag sa community rin na nga talaga, parang there will be someone at least, kung hindi man lahat, at least someone na pwede maging okay at that time na makaka-help sa'yo, di ba? And parang rin I guess sa akin ngayon ko palang in-open up community or sumasama sa community kasi
Yeah.
before ako lang tsaka yung tropa ko. Kasi syempre siya yung pinagkakatiwalaan ko, siya yung tropa ko. Pero siya rin may pinagdadaanan nga and sometimes nakukuha ko rin yun hindi nag-reply sa akin kasi may ginagawa, busy or may pinagdadaanan din. So I started venturing out then with other people na baka makatulong din sa akin somehow or at least actually okay para rin makapag
No, and you know
That's
it's
okay.
interesting. It's interesting when we talk. Now that we're talking about this mental wellness, reaching out, and kind of like feeling out people. I think what I'm picking up here, part of mental health is having boundaries. You also need to have
Yes.
boundaries.
yes, boundaries.
So katulad nung when I texted my friend and she hasn't replied, I accept. I put a boundary with myself and hindi ko na siya kinulit. And vice versa, I respected that she had to put a boundary. Maybe she's going through something difficult. So I guess in general, what I've learned, not through the years with being with the In Touch community and learning from each and every one is boundaries are part of mental health. It's a requirement. For me, it's part of a wellness requirement. No? You cannot keep giving and giving and giving from an empty cup, diba? Kung pagod ka, and then how can you be of help to a person who is asking you for help, and vice versa? Like I didn't get upset that my friend didn't respond to me because I understood that maybe she's going through a tough time. So it's boundaries is also important for our mental health wellness.
And I also realized when we tried to reach out because we wanted to vent or just wanted to confide with our friend or with the community, parang nasa culture, parang we're opening also, like I guess it's and my friends din, parang I'm opening also myself na after me, feel free to pour yours to me or share anything kasi parang give and take ang dating sa amin na parang okay, if parang na-entertain tapos he'll listen and then next parang ikaw naman, kamusta? So parang nagiging means na rin na me reaching out also means na okay, come on, I'm open also to hear what's happening to you and parang reciprocate na yung nangyari na officially started lang with me reaching out. Tapos parang magiging open na rin siya parang, okay, because the conversation is already there. And that's something I appreciate and I noticed din na parang hindi naman na plano na magkikwento siya pero dahil nagkwento ako parang yun na rin yung timing niya after siya definitely. Tapos parang okay, we're in the same, ganyan. So wala na, I just realized that na yung intention parang when you reach out to someone at the end parang yun, pag sumagot, tapos siya rin parang nag-open to opportunity na parang, hey, let's catch up na nga. Ituloy na natin yung catch up na yun.
Yeah, connections are important di ba? With family, with siblings. Kasi sometimes, especially with the pandemic, we're hiwa-hiwalay So one thing I realized is we have to have connections. It's good for our mental health. It's good for our minds. We cannot isolate ourselves.
Yeah.
And we cannot wait for people to just reach out to us. Let's also reach out to others, so that baliktarin yan reciprocity di
Yes.
ba? Not just expecting people to come up to know that you're there and ask how you are, but it also helps me. It helps me feel better when I go on my WhatsApp and I say, Mark, wala na, I'll just say Mark.
And then I'll say, yo.
Yung ganon, di ba? And and then of course we laugh about it. We humorize it.
You know what, you're not talking about connection. It is really one way, hindi lang through emotions, yung thoughts natin, it helps us organize our thoughts kapag kumakausap tayo ng iba. Kasi if we tell them our problems, there is a chance that they will see it in a fresh perspective, and
Yes.
we might be overlooking things, and they will point out to us, and maybe even find solution to that problem.
Actually, may naalala ako before. Ano
yan?
kasi ako,
mo?
sorry. Kasi, taga syempre, may mga tropa na mas bata din sa akin, and somehow, pag andun sila sa situation na may pinagdadaanan sila, I would use yung parang analogy or yung at least parang metaphorically yung puzzle, na parang we're in a puzzle or we're working on a puzzle and we're too focused doon sa missing piece na andun lang tayo focus. And para makita natin, we have to take a break or we have to step back a while, and then doon mo makikita yung nawawala or doon mo makihanap yung hinahanap mo pala. And sometimes need din natin ng iba para matulungan tayo mahanap yung missing piece dun sa sa puzzle na
Interesting, yeah. But now that you mentioned that, take a step back and all that, something just came into my thinking, no? Now that we're talking about mental health, it's important for us, for individuals, for each and every one of you out there, listeners, have a positive relationship with yourself, diba? Kasi like me, my circumstances, I'm a single mom and I'm home.
Thumbs up.
I have 2 daughters and they're all grown up. So sometimes I find myself na I'm alone at home. So then I realize, okay, I can either sit and sulk or I can be my own best friend. So, and then I said, okay, so what do I like to do? And, I'm a self-taught artist and a painter. So I said, express my talents.
Yes. See those guys, and paintings ni Rina there.
Then I said to myself, alam mo, it's not a bad thing to be alone. Being alone doesn't mean you're lonely. There's
a big difference.
100%.
And what I learned about being alone that does not make me fall into the lonely trap is having a positive relationship with myself.
Be kind to yourself.
Yes, be kind to, listeners, you have to be kind to yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to take care of yourselves. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be simple things. But me, I'll tell you, my one go-to love yourself thing. I love to eat Cheetos.
Those.
And sit in front of the TV with a big bag of Cheetos. And I say, oh, I love myself. Right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is with mental wellness, it is also the individuals. It is your individual responsibility and not the expectation or the responsibility of your friend or your mother or your father or your counselor or your boss or your assistant to make you happy, balanced, feeling okay. So it also has to do things for yourself. So akin yan, kumakain ng Cheetos sa harap ng TV. O kayo?
Kumakain din ako eh. Kita naman sa akin. Hindi naman dahil sa it somehow kasi it makes me happy rin treating yourself na some food na favorite mo or na makes you feel good. Like, di ako mahilig sa gulay, pero at times, pag gusto ko kumain ng gulay, as in, ako yung nagsabi kakain ako ng gulay, it makes me feel good. Kasi I was able to eat food, which is good for me, pero ayaw ko personally. So, for me, it's
Interesting.
somehow parang achievement plus personal happiness na nagawa ko to on my own, na wala nagsabi sa akin, wala nagpilit sa akin. So, eating is something for me rin na parang it's telling me that I love myself, that I care for myself.
Eh,
Lalo na
iba,
pag
naman, iba naman yung eating mo eh. Healthy eating mo. Ako, junk food eating yung sa akin eh.
Siyempre, kasama rin yung ibang foods. I mean, na-specify lang sa sa gulay. Kasi yun yung parang somehow ayoko. Pero pag kinain ko, natutuwa ako kasi ako yung nag-decide na kakain ako.
Ay nako, try mo yung Cheetos. Just one bag of Cheetos sa harap ng TV. Sarap ng feeling ko.
Calling Cheetos, sponsor naman.
Yun, maganda yun. Sponsor.
Yes. Yeah, picking up dun sa di ba nga yung sabi ni Rina, yung how we relate to ourselves, yung relationship natin sa sarili. Aside dun sa relationship natin, a good relationship with the people that we love and the people around us, ganyan. So, yeah, it made me realize then, Rina, na part of having wellness of our mental health, also yung looking through, parang introspect, di ba? Parang we've been looking outward na what's happening situation, pero parang mental also covers that idea na how do we see naman ourselves? How do we feel about
Kasi Mark,
ourselves? How
naisip
do
ko
we...
yun. Sorry, naisip ko yun because I remembered being locked down eh. When we were locked down with the pandemic last year, can you imagine? You're locked down in your own homes. So I said to myself, I amuse myself. I have to make friends with myself. If not, I'm going to be miserable. Magagalit ako, mapipikon ako. And you know, a lot of individuals really had a struggle coping with the pandemic lockdown during the time na talagang hindi ka makakalabas. That's why I started thinking to myself, I said, what is the best way for me to cope in a difficult time and to ensure that my mental wellness is in balance. And I said to myself, it's me. I have to have that happy, friendly relationship with myself. Oh, what can I do? Sige, maglilinis ako, magluluto, sketching, diba?
It comes down kasi sa doing the things that will make us happy.
There.
Kasi, yes. Minsan we are caught up with how we make others feel. Pero paano naman yung nararamdaman natin? 'Di ba? Kasi we spend our time with ourselves mostly ngayon lalo na pandemic. It's important to have a good relationship with yourself kasi sabi nga nila kahit na yourself can be your greatest companion and also your greatest enemy.
I was going to say that. Tama.
Nag-link yung minds niyo.
Yun ang connection.
And then, alam mo, the proof is in the pudding, ika nga. It's how well you sleep at night. Kasi I realized that pag bad mood ako buong araw and napipikon ako sa sarili ko, hindi maganda yung tulog ko. But if I've had a fulfilling day, maskin mag-isa lang ako, I sketched, nagligpit ako ng mga gamit, or kumain ako ng Cheetos, or I sent a text message to my sister who lives abroad, I realized I'm sleeping well at night. Then I said, I have to make sure my activities during the day are balanced. Diba? Otherwise, di maginhawa yung tulog ko sa gabi.
How we treat ourselves. Rina mentioned kanina
Sorry,
being
Mark,
kind to ourselves.
run that bias again. We kinda lost you. Yes.
No, am I here?
Yeah.
Am I back?
You
yes.
lagged.
Now that's something that happens, connection by internet. Yes. I was talking about yung being kind to ourselves, and I just realized that I think you mentioned it, and we're talking about mental. So parang yung kind mind, you
Be
having that
kind to your
mentality
mind.
to your mind. So
Oh,
parang
di
having that
ba? Yeah.
mentality na, okay, remember guys, be kind to your mind, kind mind. So para it
Yeah.
captures mental wellness,
Yeah.
diba? So, pick up ko lang to sa sinabi mo kanina na
Yep,
mental
that's
health and being
right.
kind to
That's a
ourselves.
good
So,
tagline. Be kind to your mind. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
so how can we be kind to our minds?
How can
How
we
can
be
we be
kind?
One
kind to our
thing I do
minds?
kasi it is hard to be kind to our mind kung yung thoughts natin is all over the place. Hindi
That's right.
natin paano
Hmm.
natin may intindihan, right? So one thing I do is journaling. At the end of the day, lahat ng nangyari, lahat ng naramdaman ko, it is good. It helps me make sense of my day and actually know kung how can I improve the next day and the things that I can do. I think that little step makes a very massive impact on our lives.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. It's really finding an activity, diba? For yourself
Mm, yes.
that helps you energize.
Yeah.
If Aiccelle said hers is journaling, mine could be sketching, and doodling and painting. Yeah.
Mine is eating also. Eating while watching. Sabay-sabay. Eating while watching.
Yes, eating while watching.
Relaxing.
I guess
Interesting.
besides eating and watching, having a good laugh with friends, like just
Yes.
telling corny jokes
That's
or
right.
funny
That's
jokes, and
right.
sometimes it's a good. I don't know. It's a good exercise for yourself, for the mind, and also for the emotional state. Kasi pag tumatawa ka, everything is happy, everything is good, it feels good. So
Yeah.
having a good laugh is parang it's also treating your mind kindly.
I agree
Yes.
with Zave. I agree with Zave. Laughter, that's what
Agree,
they
agree.
say. Laughter is the best medicine.
Medicine.
And I
Tama,
use
tama.
and I remember now you kind of make me remember something when I would have individuals, feeling sad and asking what they can do. I would always suggest to them, you watch comedy on YouTube. Watch Jokoy. He's so funny. I never stop
Jokoy.
laughing. Even me. And then I realized, wow, laughing can just make you release all that pent up energy. No? And
Yes.
then, you feel lighter inside. So yeah, right. Same. Thanks for bringing that up. Laughter is the best medicine.
Yes, yes. Tama yun. Tama. Tawa lang tawa.
That's a good break then. Like me, pag kailangan ko mag-pause, break, I'll just go sa Instagram and then there's this. I'm not promoting him, pero sobrang yun lagi kong tinitingnan. Sobrang lap trip talaga lahat ng pinopost niya. And it make my day kapag parang
Yeah.
you
I
check on
think,
it.
pero Mark, I think bottom line is it's finding little things that we all individuals like. It's all different.
Yes,
Can you imagine
definitely.
Cheetos at saka si Jokoy? Wala na, nasahig na ako. Tawa ng tawa at sobrang content. Naku, may Cheetos na, may comedy pa.
And I guess what's important is aware tayo kung anong activities marami.
Yes.
Yung talagang magpapaligaya or magpapasaya sa atin for that moment. So,
Correct.
Yes.
and it's good to hear na ito yung effective sa mga kaibigan, family, friends natin. Pero at the end of the day, you realize, no, this is mine. This is my
Your
activity
trademark.
na. Oo, ito yung magpapasaya sa at the end of the day. Yeah.
Trademark happy be kind to your mind activity.
Mm-mm.
Diba?
Kind to your
Your,
mind.
your own kind to your mind activity. So sa listeners natin, don't forget about that.
Yeah.
Think of the activities that really parang
Enjoy.
reflect your kindness to your mind.
And there's no right or wrong, no judgment.
Yes.
Whatever makes
Oh.
you tick, whatever makes you laugh, enjoy it. Kanya, we're all different individuals, unique individuals.
Sometimes I admit, on my in my room, parang on my own, listen to music and dance on your own. No one's watching.
Yeah.
It helps.
Dance like no one
Honestly,
is
no one's
watching.
watching, and then you're driving with your own music. So sobrang helpful noon. So
Yeah, interesting. Nice, nice, nice. Wow,
Totoo.
guys,
Dancing is good.
I picked up a lot from this
Yeah.
exchange we've been having. Over what? Well, how many? How? I'm just about under an hour. I'm so glad.
yes,
Thanks for all these tips. How enlightening. I hope also that our listeners, picked up a tip or two, and hope that we're able to ignite inspiration. Spark ideas for them. And more than anything, do check us out at In Touch Community. We're on the web.
yeah,
See
Yeah.
what we do. Yeah.
yeah. The website, by the way, is www.in-touch.org.
Intouch.org. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. There's a lot that you may be able to pick up from the website, and really look at us. We're such a happy, happy
Happy
community.
community.
Actually, we could go on and so on pa. Pero I guess we just have to, yeah, the time that we set for this morning. So I know we have the a long day ahead pa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we could give our listeners our parang
Parting message.
parting message or last, hindi naman last, parting message for this episode. Again, just for this episode. As we did talk about mental health, wellness, well-being.
O sige, me na first. Me. Ako na mauna.
Yes.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning in to us this Sunday. I hope you were able to pick up a tip or two. And don't forget to stay in balance. Have a relationship with yourself and smile and be happy. I hope you will be. Mark, aren't we? There are going to be more episodes, right? Moving
Yes.
forward.
This is just
There
the
are many
first.
more.
Just the
Yes.
first. I'm telling you guys, just the first.
Okay, I'm done. Happy listening, guys. Who's next?
I'll
For
go
me na,
next. Oh,
ay,
sorry.
ayan, sige.
Ladies
No,
first.
topic
Ladies
kayo.
first.
So,
Ladies first.
okay, my parting message is please realize that don't be afraid to try new things no matter if you're good at it or not. As long as it makes you happy and it
Yes.
yeah, that is a way of protecting your mental health. Be
Mhm.
silly if you should. And always
Like
stay
we are
in
here.
touch. Yes, stay in touch and find your safe place. There is always a place for you and you deserve to be here and we are happy that you are staying in touch with us and goodbye.
Okay, yeah, actually, I agree. Find that place, safe place for you. Kasi need natin yan. And like I said, have a good laugh. It's one of the best medicine. Kahit na may
Amen.
sakit ka, pag tumatawa ka, magiging light talaga yung mood mo. So for me, it's like
Yes.
have that safe space, the community and people that you could laugh with or be silly with nga, sabi nga niya. It's a good
Galing.
thing to have.
Galing. 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 Yes. Yes. Yes.
And for me, of course, don't forget to our listeners to be kind with your mind. Kind mind, remember, would help also to have a good mental wellness. So, yun. And of course, just be yourselves and finding what makes you happy, what will
Make them
makes your
tick.
mind.
Yeah.
Oh, so just I'm stuck with a kind mind. So yeah, that's the idea here. And again, this is just the first episode for our community of mental health advocates. You will be meeting the rest of our what do you call this? Our co advocates for
Yes.
mental health. So every
Yes.
episode you'll meet new people, the new barkada, new groups of like us. We're just talk and on a topic and have fun. And again, to our listeners, thank you for tuning in for this episode,
Thank
our
you.
first
Thank you,
episode.
Thank you.
listeners.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you